Season of Discovery is finally here. I am so excited for it, and I hope you are too, because this is my guide to playing Elemental Shaman. I'm going to be taking you through everything you are going to need to know to succeed. But before we get going, please do click that subscribe button down below. If you look at my channel, you'll see I've done about a gabillion videos in the last few weeks for all different guides, and subscribing, which is just one click of a button for you, will do wonders for me to grow this channel and make sure that I can continue pumping out these videos for you guys watching. First things first is going to be, what race are we going to play? If you are Alliance, then tough luck, because you cannot play Shaman in Classic, and unfortunately, I was hoping they would change it for Season of Discovery, but they haven't. But if you are looking what race to play, I would say go with Troll. That is for their Berserking ability, which is going to increase your cast time speed depending on how much health you have. If the boss or whatever you're fighting does a big nasty ability and you're quite low on health, you can then use this Berserking ability to get a huge cast time increase or decrease on your spells, and everything else just kind of pick what you want. But if you are trying to min-max, and it is more important in Classic, of course, then Troll is the way to go. If we're looking at what stats we're going to want in Season of Discovery for Elemental, the first one to get that spell hit cap is going to be 16%. Next up is going to be spell damage. Third is going to be spell critical strike. Then we're going to want mana every 5 seconds, otherwise known as MP5. And last is going to be intellect. Now, I will say it may actually be quite difficult to achieve the 16% spell hit, but that is, what we're trying to aim for in an ideal world if we can. Now, let's just get straight into the exciting bit, because I can't wait a second longer. Season of Discovery, of course, introduces runes and rune discovery and all of that lovely stuff. So the 3 runes that I would recommend for Elemental DPS, first up is going to be Overload. This one is really, really cool. Basically, it's going to give your Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, your Heal, your Healing Wave, your Chain Heal, your Lava Burst, a chance to cast a second one. So you cast it, and then there's a 33% chance that it will actually clone itself and send another ability out and do the, it's not the same damage, it's half the damage or healing, but it isn't actually going to cost you any more, which is literally insane as a rune. Second one is going to be Lava Burst. So this is actually going to be more efficient than your Lava Lash, and it is going to do more damage in this rotation that we're going to be using. It's always going to crit if Flame Shock is on the target. Flame Shock is a spell that we're going to be using in our rotation that we're going to want to keep up on our targets as much as possible, and will be forming a core part of our rotation. Then lastly, we've got Shamanistic Rage, which basically is going to reduce your damage taken. It's going to give you some mana regen, and your party members are also going to get some mana too. So to put it into the specifics of things, we're going to reduce all damage we take by 20%, and you regenerate mana every 15 seconds. Mana regen is equal to 15% of your attack power, 10% of your spell power, or 6% of your healing power. Basically, whichever one is higher, it's going to choose out of those 3. And then your party and raid members within 40 yards, so quite a big range, will also receive 10% of the mana that you receive this way, which is phenomenal. Now, if you're wondering how to actually get these runes, the first one, Overload, this is going to be a quest that you can get at level 2, and it's called Icons of Power by Shikrik. And you're going to have to go kill a Scorpion Warrior until you get this icon. You equip it. You then need to find a source of nature damage. The most obvious one is to continue fighting with Dyadic Icon, but you could also get nature damage by dueling a Shaman with Lightning Bolt and Earth Shock, or a Hunter with Serpent Sting as well. Once you've taken nature damage that's 10 times, you're going to get a buff called Inspired, and then you can use that icon from your equipment, and then you can turn in the quest to Shikrik. If you're looking how to find Lava Burst, then tough luck, because I don't know. No, unfortunately, it hasn't been found yet, so I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. Wish I did. If you do find out, let everyone else know in the comments below for that one. That is the only downside of me getting these guides out so quick once Season of Discovery has launched. Unfortunately, the one and only downside here. But if you do want to find Shamanistic Rage, then I can help you out with this last and final one. This is south of the Charred Vale. near the entrance to Desolus in the Stone Talon Mountains. God, I sound like I'm like reading out some sort of prophecy. There's an elite enemy called Primordial Anomaly, and this elemental is going to shift between fire, frost, and earth. You're going to need to use the mob's elemental weaknesses in order to kill it, which actually sounds really, really cool on that one. So that's how you find those two. Again, if anyone does find out how to find Lava Burst, let me know down in the comments below. Sorry that I don't know where it is. Again, the information just doesn't seem to be out yet. I actually did Google for another rune yesterday, and I Googled it, and the only search that came up on Google was me. I came up on the Google search results. I was like, wow, this is really useful. Looking at the gear then, let's see what's best here. So the robes and belt of Aragol are both going to be from Aragol in, what's it called? That dungeon in Silver Pine Forest. Oh my God, I can't remember what it's called. You know the one, werewolves and all that in Silver Pine Forest. Aragol's there. Is it Shadowfang Keep? I don't know. Robes of Aragol and Belt of Aragol, that's how you're going to get those. The Advisor's Ring is from Reputation in Warsong Gulch, and there is an Alliance and Horde version of this. One other thing that is kind of PvP, and I can't be bothered for myself, is going to be the Gurabashi Arena Trinket. You are, of course, going to have to get the trinket thing 12 times. Win the Gurabashi Arena 12 times to then get the trinket, which is going to be really, really tough. I think it's going to be really busy down there, especially as things are just starting to get going with the Season of Discovery. But if you can get it, then that is going to be best in slot for you. There are a lot of things like the Shredder operating gloves, a lot of easy green items to get like this that are going to have, agility, stamina, and intellect. And one thing that isn't on here, if you are Horde, you can do the Leaders of the Fang quest in the Wailing Caverns to get something called the Crescent Staff. This is a really good weapon that has stamina, intellect, and spirit on it. Again, that's just from a quest reward. And then there's also another one for Razorfen Crawl, which could be a bit tough considering we're capped at level 25. It's called the Beryline Pads. This is another shoulder. There is also the Magician's Mantle. This is BOE, so this can be bought on the auction house. If you don't want to get that, the quest is called A Vengeful Fate, or the Crone in the Crawl, depending if you are Alliance or Horde, but both parties, unlike the staff I mentioned, can actually get the Beryline Pads from Razorfen Crawl quests. Finally then, before we get into the actual rotation itself, this is the talent build I would recommend. It is, of course, all in Elemental, as to be expected. Going from the top row the middle, we've got Convection, reducing the mana cost of your Shock Lightning, Bolt, and Chain Lightning spells by 10%. Then on the other bit, on the top row, we've got Concussion, increasing the damage done by your Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, and Shock spells by 5%. So just a pure old damage increase there. Skipping the second row altogether and going straight to the third row, we've got Elemental Focus, giving you a 10% chance to enter clear casting. And basically that is going to make your next spell free. And Call of Thunder is our last 5 points, which is going to increase the critical strike of your Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning spells by an additional 6%. Looking at how it all comes together then, how are we going to put this into the rotation? Well, it's going to be really, really super duper simple. First up, I would say about using our totems. You've got your Searing Totem, your Strength of Earth Totem, and your Healing Stream Totem. These are probably the 3 that we're going to be using, depending on what we need at the time. But the actual core rotation is keeping Flame Shock up on our enemies at all times. Remember that Lava Burst is going to crit if we've got Flame Shock on there. Second then is going to be Lava Burst, and putting this on our target when Flame Shock is active. Last is going to be Lightning Bolt, and you can pretty much just use this as a filler. So pretty much really simple rotation there. I hope you guys like this guide. Do again check my channel out, because I'm doing all guides for Season of Discovery, and I'm also doing retail ones as well. If you do want to play with other players, join my Discord, because we have a ton of people chatting away and playing together all day long in World of Warcraft, again, both retail and classic.